Hi everyone, I hope you've had a great workshop today, and my apologies that I couldn't make it. Today I want to give you a very short talk on how I see the role of youth in driving Africa's aquaculture revolution and the role that youth will play. My name is Dr. Alexandra Pounds, and I'm the Chief Scientist at Think Aqua. And today I want to speak to you directly as young people, as the future employees, innovators, and entrepreneurs who will shape the next era of African aquaculture. Aquaculture in Africa is growing fast, but it looks very different depending on where you stand and which region you're in. In some regions, like around Lake Victoria, production is mainly driven by a few very large, well-established companies. I'm thinking about Victory Farms here. But in places like Nigeria and Egypt, where the sector is powered by thousands of individual and family-run farms, it looks very different and the dynamics are very different. But across the continent, demand for fish is huge and rising, and aquaculture is one of the few industries that can expand fast enough to meet that demand sustainably, if we do it right. And for aquaculture to reach its full potential, it needs the energy, creativity, and innovation, and that can come from youth. Young women are already central in so many different areas, and they also have real opportunities to move forward into leadership positions, ownership of a variety of companies, and even technology-driven roles throughout the value chain. I see two main powerful roles for youth in this sector. The first is as employees, so the skilled workforce that farms need to process and produce and sell fish. And these employees are absolutely critical for supporting the industry and making it happen. And there's significant money to be made in this area, particularly if you can move up through the ranks and into management positions. The second role I see is as entrepreneurs and being the key innovators that are building new products, using technology to your advantage, and generating specific services to fill those niche needs. And both of these paths matter. Let's start with youth as employees. The aquaculture sector is hungry for talent. They have so many job opportunities, and they are really looking for people with the right skills that they can hire. Hatcheries need technicians, people who know how to handle the broodstock and the fry and the eggs. Farmers need pond managers or cage managers. Processing plants need skilled workers who can understand quality and safety and work quickly and efficiently and with a lot of precision. And even distribution networks need reliable people who can move fish around and be on time and execute things efficiently. And these roles are real. They're now. They're really needed. And only more will become available as the aquaculture sector grows. But if you're looking to get hired and to stay hired, you really need the right practical skills and the right soft skills to succeed in your role. So with that in mind, here's some of the practical skills that come to the top of my mind that employers are constantly looking for. You must know, for example, how to handle the fish, how to hold it properly, how to make sure it has good welfare. Maybe you need to know how to fix a net, how to weigh or grade fish, what it means to grade a fish, and how to carry out tasks like checking the water quality, having an idea of what the color means in a pond. So all of these technical know-how things are important. Knowing how to use your hands on a farm is really important. One thing that's really lacking that farms across the board are talking about is a lack of people who have record-keeping skills. So being able to use a notebook, a spreadsheet, a mobile app, or even just a bit of paper to mark down the different numbers and production numbers and to keep track of what's going on at the farm, and then knowing how to monitor those numbers over time with dates and with precision. Super important. Beyond these basic farm skills, you also need general career skills. Thinking about the best way to write a CV using action verbs, for example, how to prepare for an interview. You can practice with your friends and download questions off the internet. And once you're in that interview and in your job, how to present yourself professionally, how to keep your personal business at home and make sure you're calm and controlled and positive in the workplace. And young women in particular can gain significant upward mobility throughout these farms by mastering these practical skills so that they can move into these more formal, higher paid positions. There's loads of resources, free resources online that can help you with designing a CV and preparing for an interview. So definitely use Google and those free materials to your advantage. And it's not just these technical skills, but it's also the soft skills that are so important to being a great employee. And and sometimes soft skills matter just as much and sometimes even more. Employers need people who can show up on time every single day. On top of that, people who communicate proactively is really important. So communicating proactively means as soon as there's a problem, you tell your supervisor. You don't just tell them, but you also bring potential solutions. So you're not in charge of those solutions, but you're brainstorming and actively thinking about 2 or 3 possible solutions to fix that problem. Employers want people who ask good questions, who take initiative, and who don't wait for instructions to learn something new or try to improve on their own performance. Things like knowing how to set SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, so that you can shape your own career and improve on your own performance instead of waiting for someone to tell you what to do. And finally, no matter where you are in the value chain, you should always be building a network and looking out for potential mentors, people who believe in you and want to see you succeed. These can be other farmers, older people in your life, leaders, aquaculture officers, or even your peers who just believe in you. Obviously, these skills aren't everything. I'm sure you can think about more, so please do pop more skills that come to your mind into the chat and we can learn from each other. Now let's talk about youth as entrepreneurs. Youth, you have a huge advantage. You're creative, you learn fast, you understand technology, you can experiment, fail, adjust, and try again. And I love this resilience that we see in youth, and the creativity and readiness to embrace new ideas and just give them a go. And those are key aspects of being an entrepreneur. And if you can embrace those, there are endless opportunities to build new businesses. You can do small pond farms, you can do a cage system, a hatchery, create your own feed, potentially grow your own larvae. So in this picture here, you can see that someone has started their own larvae farm, and they're growing larvae for human consumption and making quite a lot of money off of a pretty small investment. You can do things like developing solar specifically for aquaculture, manage logistics. You could become a coordinator and connect people to each other. You could do e-commerce delivery for fish. You can create an app or help people use apps. You could become a trainer. And then there's also loads of opportunities in the value addition node. So you could experiment with drying fish, making a fish powder, or making a fish sausage or a fish burger. The opportunities really are endless. And these are just some of the ideas that I have, but there's so many more out there, and I'm sure that you can come up with that. But the idea isn't enough. You also need business skills and an action plan to make your dreams become a reality. To run a successful aquaculture business, you've got to understand a variety of different business skills. For example, value and income versus expense analysis. How much does it cost you to produce a kilo of fish? And is that selling price actually profitable? How much are you spending versus how much are you making? Thinking about cash flow. Do you have enough cash in your pocket to buy feed all the way through harvest? Or are you going to have to find potentially credit opportunities, people who will loan you money for reasonable interest rates to get you through until that harvest period? Can you do a partial harvest to perhaps get some cash flow halfway through your cycle? Bookkeeping. Again, bookkeeping is absolutely essential. Tracking every expense and every sale and the dates and quantities and the people involved, all of this is critical to running your own business and knowing whether or not you're being successful. Another part is marketing. Can you write clear, simple messages that tell consumers who you are and why they should buy from you? What makes your fish better than the neck farmers? What is your advantage? Why should they buy from you? And that leads into your pitch. So if you want to find investment to grow your business or go into a partnership to share the risk, for example, you need to be able to explain your idea in a short, punchy, and an action-oriented way. Don't feel overwhelmed. These skills are totally teachable, and there are so many free resources on the internet that you can go and learn from. You just need to sit down and start reading and know that you can teach yourself and have that faith. Entrepreneurship also demands soft skills. So things like resiliency, being able to handle failure and try again. You must also learn to solve problems quickly, lead small teams of employees, or coordinate suppliers. You need to be able to communicate clearly and respectfully to everyone involved. And you need to make your customers feel like rock stars. If we learn anything from the tech giants like Steve Jobs, it's that the customers want a great experience, not just your product. And again, most importantly, you've got to take charge of your own learning and go out there and find the materials that you need to succeed. Waiting for someone to come and train you is wasting your precious time when you could be achieving great things. So go online, ask questions, experiment, read, observe, test, ask people again, ask your friends, ask your mentor. And this is how you're going to be able to build these big, successful businesses that you dream about. So, what's your action plan? I've put this slide together just as what I would tell my own younger self, but don't wait for tomorrow. Go ahead and start today. Choose your path. Do you want to be an employee? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? What kind of job would you want? What kind of business would you want to build? Where are your dreams? Where do you want to go? And make that decision today. It doesn't have to be a firm decision. You can change your mind down the road, but just find a place to start. And then this week you could change some of your habits, start developing these skills. You could ask a question. You could show up early. You could practice your introduction, practice saying, "Hi, my name is, and I do this." And then think about what you want to do moving forward. Don't let the momentum slag. So this month you could learn a new practical skill. You could go find a fish farmer and ask them to teach you how to handle a fish. You could update your CV, you could update your business plan using free materials online. You could join the Sarnissa network where there's hundreds, if not thousands, of aquaculture professionals who are happy to share their knowledge, and maybe you'll even find a mentor there. So I want to leave you with this simple action plan if you've no idea where to start, but you guys are smart and creative and industrious, and I'm sure that you can come up with an even better plan on your own. I really appreciate you listening today, and I hope you have a really great weekend. Take care. Bye.